Recorded. Yeah, let's hide this guy. Welcome to DevKami, number 156. My name is Suming. I'm back. And we have Chiliang.
And we
Say
have
Chilean, we're
hi.
supposed to
sweemeng.
do our own intro. Stop taking our
Yeah.
job away.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and next,
Next.
Well, where are we now?
your intro.
Yes.
Yeah,
Of
your
course,
intro,
we have.
Tristan,
Yes.
and you are
Yeah,
Tristan.
Yes.
and that is
Forget it.
sweemeng.
Yeah.
Yes. Because after 1 week of not joining DevKami, I do not know what to do now.
Yeah. What sort of an epiphany you gained from last week absence?
I need coffee every day. It's either that or I need to stock up with my green tea because I do not know which is worse, green tea or coffee. I stick with green tea, except I'm out of green tea. So I need one of these
Green tea
things
is
to keep me
good.
awake. I need otherwise I'll be having a full day headache without which I should have taken my Panadol in the early on. So should just pick that painkiller. That's just me. So that being said, things is getting really interesting toward the end of the year, for me at least. I have a product launch, but it's in alpha, so I can't tell you guys what it is yet. Maybe when we do get launched, I will announce if the boss is okay. Then my toys is coming. And more importantly, give me a moment. This is important. This is actually very important.
Where did he go? Yeah, look. That looks like that hoodie looks like there's a dead body lying down there.
You look at body bag.
Yeah, body bag.
I murdered someone. So I have a whole set of Doom, which is actually very good. I love it.
Which cover is this? Is the new cover? You have the new cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, at least you get
So
them in the uniform version. I have a pet peeve
Yeah.
in getting books with a different cover.
correct. Then my
And
toys
I
is
see.
coming.
I make sure mine is always the same form factor.
Yes.
Mm.
So my Bangle JS should come by next month, very likely. So which will be interesting. I hope. I also get Pug.js.
Too late, we
So,
already did Bango.js last week.
so one of the theme in the future would be I might do a dynamic language on microprocessor episode, meaning I will cover things that I don't usually cover like CircuitPython. Because this guy here can run CircuitPython, I have the opportunity to do this, talk about how to use it. JavaScript on my other device. I don't like JavaScript, but I don't mind because as long people have another way to program, try new platform, that's a good thing. Despite my disdain of JavaScript, but it's not as bad as COBOL, so that's that. Yes,
So I have a project in mind. So because I have a laptop in the office, and so
Yeah.
it sleeps, right? So the problem is you
Yeah.
don't have Wake on LAN on that laptop. And so I'm
Alright.
actually thinking of putting something like a Raspberry Pi that is always connected. So and
Yeah.
slow power because it's just a Pi. And then
Yeah.
having a Pi Pico emulate a keyboard
Yeah.
so that I can log into the Pi like from somewhere like maybe TeamViewer or something like that, then send a signal through the Pi GPIO to the keyboard to wake up the laptop. So it's a Rube Goldberg, but that's like doing a wake on LAN without doing a wake on LAN. Like it's basically waking up a remote laptop through a Raspberry
Yeah.
Pi and the HID. If the Raspberry Pi could only emulate a USB HID, then it's fine. I'm waiting
Yeah.
for the Pi 02. Maybe that would because that has USB OTG functionality, so you can actually
I
emulate a
think
keyboard.
actually the Bluetooth stack wise, the possibility is already there. It's generally not done simply because you had a full-blown Linux machine to simulate a keyboard. It get a bit overkill. That's the only reason really. But
Well,
the
I
spec
need
wise,
the
it's
full
supported.
blown. I need the full blown Linux machine to actually do the TeamViewer because I need it to be connectable from the network. So yeah, I was thinking of doing it through Bluetooth, but problem is that like it can be wonky. Like I need to be sure that the keyboard is actually working. And I
Yeah.
don't know if like a keyboard Bluetooth can even wake up the laptop, right? So
Yeah,
like
yeah, correct.
it's just if it's a wired USB HID device, then you're sure. Like at least I know the laptop will wake up on a USB keyboard, so
Yeah.
that should be fine. So
Mhm.
that's a project I think I'll be working on this weekend. So we'll see. That's why I was
Yeah.
asking about the Circuit Python as well. So I think I will
Yes.
be doing that on the PyPico.
Mhm.
And I will probably be doing some maybe Tiny Go or something like something simple on the GPIO side on the Raspberry Pi.
Yep. So I think that's actually content for the next. It depends actually. I may not do it within the full 1 month simply because in between there's Christmas and we may be lazy as hell. So yeah. So that being said, let's start with our Bus Corner event first. What happened? Can you see?
Yep.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, cool. It's the right tab and it's
So when
not on.
there's nothing on the meetup, but we are. What did you
Sorry.
say? So
What?
there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing much on the meetup, but we
Yes.
do
It's
have.
Christmas season.
But the Ruby Tuesday is happening,
Yeah.
Yep,
and
correct.
apparently
Awesome.
we're being sponsored by. Uh, I forgot
Squarespace.
already which one. No, not Squarespace. The Japanese one. I forgot already, but
Oh,
we'll
Hoisan's
probably
company.
announce it. Yeah,
Forkwell.
Yes.
Forkwell,
Forkwell.
Yes.
and yeah, there's a few like 100 ringgit vouchers up for grabs if you're
Cool.
there. So
Cool.
come and join us for the meetup. We'll probably announce it again next week. But yeah, if you're
Yeah.
interested in the meetup, or if you're just really interested in the sponsors, then go and attend.
Yes. Correct. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And it's a Christmas month. I know quite a few of us actually celebrate one way or another. It is a celebration of consumerism after all. So yeah. So yes. So let's start with our first
Why you
news.
gonna buy?
Huh?
Why you gonna
Oh,
buy
unfortunately, I already used up my Christmas quota.
before
So
Christmas?
what? Yeah. So for example, the Bengal JS watch is coming on the Christmas month. Definitely on maybe just before December or early December. But my OpenCV camera that try to deliver in the middle of December. So I'm most probably getting it by January or February. So that's typical. So that being said, let's start with our first news. Windows 11 Enterprise Virtual Machine available for download. This is mostly for application developers. Uh, you can run it on parallel, VirtualBox, and all that, which is interesting because uh, this is mostly for people to actually develop application on Windows when they're not on Windows. Or they want a clean version, a clean Windows environment. This is the way for you to go. So yeah, it's not for Linux users to play game. You more likely you will have more success using Proton than this. So yeah, these are development. This is more like a test environment if you need to test Windows application. It's something that I've done for a while.
Or
So
yeah, if
next
you,
one.
I think they wanted to, if you want to do, they want people to write software for Windows 11. So,
Correct.
or at least test their applications on Windows 11. That's
Correct.
why they're
Correct.
making it. I wonder though if, yeah, well, I guess it's a VM. So if you have like VMware or VirtualBox on Linux, then it should still work. So yeah, I guess it's
Correct.
fine.
Yes. Because okay, it's something that Windows have been practiced for a long while. Maybe it's not as well known or open up to other application, other platform, but you generally have a virtual machine for you to actually test the application, at least on the Windows platform level. So it's something they've done for a while, except it used to be only for Windows to build .NET and whatnot environment. So yeah, things a bit more open. So this is a new one.
Do it.
This is a new platform for embedded system. Apparently, this uses Dart. Is this uses Dart?
No,
Oh,
it's
this is actually Python. It's Python-like language. It's a Python-like language.
it's a new language.
Yes. It's not Python fully. It's inspired by Python. So it's another language. More option is good because not everyone knows C. And yeah, if you're interested, do this. There's actually another one that I actually want to try out. I lost it. Maybe I'll find it later. So type language. This is also interesting. OpenAI API now available. So instead of training on neural network, you can use. Well, you do train it a little bit because OpenAI had a thing. Essentially, it's help you to do things called zero. It's called zero training. So you can use it to generate new data, so that you can feed in new data and do something. But there is a limit of what you can do. So which is here, no harassment, no hate. It's a general, be nice, don't be evil kind of thing. Political is a bit more icky, but from a civic tech background, I do not have a strong use case where generative text is useful. So I'm not too comfortable with that, but I understand the reason. And also, there's not many use case anyway. Also, it's not actually cheap. Actually, the token is. Let me find the pricing. Is they're charged by token actually, so it's a 1K token and all that. So it's not too bad, but if you use it to generate a novel.
It's cheap enough. It's cheap enough if you need it. Cheap enough.
Correct. But you probably won't use it to generate a novel. Do you? Let me think. I need to find out. So prices per 1,000 token. Token as a piece of words. So 1,000 token is 750 words. A paragraph is 35 token. Yeah, it's cheap enough. So I think start experimenting. I want to see what you can do. I do not guarantee DevKami will not use this to generate a blog. No guarantee. But who knows? I might do that out of my own money. Let's see. This is interesting for me. So anybody want to play with this other than me?
No.
Probably not. Probably too early.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. Let's see. I might use it to make a friend because I'm so lonely.
Or maybe the Lazada chatbot might start using this.
Yeah. Actually, the whole point of opening up a general text platform is for you to build again generative text, and one of the biggest use cases is actually for e-commerce tech support in terms of chat. So talking about chatbots and all that. The only thing is I do not know how good GPT-3 or is useful on other languages, non-English languages. That's the only problem. But it covers enough. It do it well. The only problem with all these generative text platforms is you need to be extremely careful, and GPT-3 does not necessarily automatically understand your context. So your text support may get out of hand very fast. So something you need to cover, something to be very careful about. As you say, it's still early, but it's just in time for you to experiment. So that's and if it work for you guys, I would really love to see. So next one, episode NSO group. This for the Pegasus malware because iOS is one of the big platforms that being targeted. Actually, if all platform is targeted.
No, because
So Apple,
they sue it on the ground of they violate the term of service.
correct. So yeah. So that's it. So they go legal way, and they also do the security and all that. It's a good thing, but NSO group tends to be working with the state, meaning even if they go underground, as a result of this, is they will have unofficial support. So it depends on how willing this organization willing to go underground. So yeah. So yeah, that's the go through from the legal level, and of course software level, which they do a long time lah. This one, okay, probably not that interesting for us, but Power Platform is one of the platform that try to is the equivalent to do you remember Visual Basic VBAs? VBAs used to be everywhere. In fact, VBScript actually extended from VBA and all that. Microsoft is doing the same move. It's called PowerFX now. So it's open source, and you can do quite a number of things. Primarily this can be is used on Excel. You also can use on other places. So this actually allows you to do local development. Again, it's the Visual Basic but higher level, so that you can actually drag and drop. So one thing that people actually underestimate about Visual Basic is actually how interesting it is people to can just on Access actually you can actually drag and drop and make a small application. So a lot of people forget about the capability, but I find this very interesting. So they just me. So anything you want to add on this? If not, I'm going off.
No,
Oh, one
I
last
think
thing.
this is fine.
From this platform, they also introduced JavaScript for Excel.
I just found something. I just share. It's a bit random. I just found out that I'm gonna share my screen. It looks like a Mac, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is accessed via Remina on. This is a Linux VNC client.
Okay.
This Mac Mini is actually in the office, so I accessed it via WireGuard.
Yeah.
So apparently the built-in, that Mac actually has a built-in VNC server, right?
Yeah.
Apparently can be accessed as a normal VNC. we did.
Yeah,
Well, you
we
can't
didn't even
because
try. Yeah.
well, if you're
We
doing
didn't
it
even try
via
it previously.
okay, yeah, if you're doing it in WireGuard, then you have access to that.
Yeah.
I mean, are you saying that the VNC server is open
VNC server
publicly?
is a standard VNC server.
Yeah, it's nothing
No, but it's
extra.
not open publicly, right? You're connecting
It's
it
not
via
publicly. It's not
WireGuard.
publicly. It's
Okay.
via WireGuard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's
yeah. Okay.
It's trivial,
You didn't
but
know about
something
it?
that I'm surprised that it worked with other stuff.
Yes. Correct. So the next one is actually Django 4.0. Django is one of my, believe it or not, Django is my earliest web framework. I tried PHP, it doesn't work for me. Then there's Ruby on Rails, but I can't, it doesn't work for me actually. That's the point. It doesn't work for me. So Django
What doesn't work for you?
The abstraction doesn't work for me. I cannot, my brain doesn't fit into that abstraction. So that's the only reason really.
Sorry.
So yeah.
Some people might find me rude for laughing like that.
Yes. But Django is it's come out around the same time as Rails, maybe a bit later. But it's one of the full-blown framework. Actually, Python has some framework in between there because Plone have it, Zope have it. But those are more like application framework, Java style than web framework that we know of. So Django is one of the earlier one. It's not the earliest, but it's one of the earlier one that people know as a web framework. And interestingly, that's the reason why I got I got my job in the early days of my career, because in the 2008, 2009, Django developers tend to be internal if that exists. So yeah, there's not that many
I think that is
around.
the same for all technology when they first started.
Mhm.
Yes.
Before it
So
get mainstream, where schools starting to teach it, is that
Yeah.
people are gonna pick it up on their own.
so either way, the moral of the Django story is don't worry about if you know niche technology. Sometimes that's how you get jobs. Random nodes. So now there's a standard time zone library. We do have that previously, PyTZ, but now we use a new library called Zone Info. So this is a new one.
Just
Is it a
want to
new
share
one
your
or-
screen as well.
Yeah, no, because
Okay.
you opened up the Mac thing trivia. So while
Yeah.
Sweemeng is doing that, then I'll prepare my what I'm sharing as well.
So actually, Zone Info is built in on the standard Python standard library, so no external library needed. It used to be we need to install. PyTZ is bundled with Django. Then there is new constraint for databases.
It's one
So
of the
it's also-
problem with PyTZ. I think it's one of the problem that Python has to solve in their standard library.
Correct. Now they have it in the term of Zone Info lah. So we had a new hasher as script, which is more secure. It's not default, it's not default because it requires OpenSSL 1.1, but it's available for us to use. Redis cache backend is now have built-in support, so you need to install the Redis library. But once you have that, then you will automatically get our support. Then from
Are you sharing your screen, Sweemeng?
I thought. Oh, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
you're not sharing your screen, so we are
I
not
thought
seeing
it's
what you're clicking on.
okay. I thought it's automatically there. I'm so sorry. So you have Redis, you can add script, constraint for database zone info, for your time zone. What else we have? A lot of these are behind the scenes, so not much here. So all this is also interesting. Header, admin side header, because people used to try to customize the Django admins as their own admin. It's a nightmare. So now we can have a header that we can change, which is good. But Django admin are not meant for that. But
Django
this
admin is not meant for general purpose admin.
correct.
It's for us to play with the model, I would say.
Correct.
So
So
if
it's for
we need
prototyping.
if you need to do an admin, we should need to write an admin or install a plugin that does the generation for us. But it's my opinion is that the admin is for us to play with the data.
Correct. So last one that I'm going to very interesting one is actually the Postgres feature. So you can do array subquery, trigram similarity, and all that. So yeah, a lot of behind the scenes, some interesting stuff. Django is one of those things that, in a way, I like because the AT, even though they can introduce new feature, but the old feature rarely breaks, or it doesn't change that much. So the behavior is pretty much consistent. So consistent most of the time. Most of the time, when do break, they will tell you early. Then you do have time to actually fix it for a while. They actually put it like some of the things are deprecated for 2-3 release before they totally phase it out. So that's one reason why I like Django. In fact, which is why I have this thing with JavaScript. We tend to always look in the future, but not in the present. But they just Cloudflare. So what is this about? I don't know.
We talked about it last week.
Oh, okay. Forget it.
So it's that we
Forget it,
can put more stuff with it. There's more offering from Cloudflare.
Yeah.
But I think gradually I can see it's going to be feature parity with at least not on the AWS scale, at least on the Firebase equivalent.
Yeah. Page impulse. So actually, I need to show 2 things. Let me switch my tab. So actually, this is something I promised Sys Studio, but I didn't send an email, but I do it anyway because it's interesting. Let me go to my Pawn stash.
Prawn stack. your seafood stack.
Yes. Don't tell people I eat prawn, okay? I'm not supposed to eat prawn. It's bad for my gut.
You should put it in an aquarium.
Okay, so
And
you
watch
won't
it.
hear the sound. You won't hear the sound. You won't hear the sound.
What is the
This video.
TikTok chatter?
Okay, so first thing first, you can't hear the sound because I do not know how to type the sound from YouTube. But there's actually a background sound.
Like a boot up
So
sound.
yeah, so okay, so so what I do is the Wio Terminal here. The Wio Terminal actually have a microphone. It's not a digital microphone, so you cannot control the sampling rate and whatnot, so you don't get all the fancy thing. But you do have an analog microphone, which you can use to actually sample your sound. I'll show you later. So but unfortunately, this demo had a very cool bug. Machine learning tend to, if you put garbage, you also get garbage. So in this case, one of the sound I trained is actually clock, which is TikTok, just because. Then the shatter is a shatter sound, which I will show later. So this demo, I set the firmware, but I don't have a long what I call it USB cable, so I can show this to you. But I can share screen, and actually there's not much to show other than this is the demo, right? So, but how do one actually train this? So let's go back to some of the spec. The Wio Terminal actually runs on SAMD51. It's a microcontroller, and more importantly, it's a microcontroller that officially they get TensorFlow Lite micro support through the creator, I think Admel, or was it who created SAMD51? Was it Admel or was it Microchip? They're the same now, right? What the hell? I'm thinking.
Yeah. Microchip bought the
Admel, right?
stuff.
So Microchip actually software stack that actually support TensorFlow Lite on the hardware. Then the Arduino development team officially support it. So you can actually just take the TensorFlow Lite library from Arduino and you can actually compile and use your TensorFlow Lite micro to your microcontroller, this thing, right? And what is TensorFlow Lite micro? Now I have to switch screen again. It's actually under umbrella term called TinyML. So TinyML, there actually is more of a big idea and capability. The idea here is the ability to run a reasonably deep neural network. I'm going to show you the capability from this later. I might talk about this later, but I'm going to repeat this again. It's actually a way for you to run neural network locally on a microcontroller level hardware, system on the chip hardware. So you do not need to connect to the internet, to the cloud to do your inference. You can do your inference locally, right? So this is what they mean, right? And they have a lot of activity. So previously, TensorFlow Lite TinyML is actually mostly for sound because those are the easiest thing to do. But so people actually manage to use this and camera and use again small neural network on a microcontroller to actually do inference. You do not even need to talk to the internet, and this gives a lot of cool capability. So for example, you're privacy conscious, then you can do inference on board. Then the only lead will be from your own software, not by the capability of cloud being snooped on and whatnot. And also because you can run it on microcontroller, meaning you can potentially have very cheap inference without a GPU. So, and hopefully, one thing I really do hope is this inference capability are brought to the desktop, and so that we can actually get low power inference machine learning capability. So yeah, this is TinyML, right? And one of the big player of TinyML space is actually Edge Impulse. All this thing. But before this, I need to go through the background of this project again. Give me a while. Let me switch. Let me switch tab again. GitHub.com/sweemeng. Actually, because the tab will show my work thing, I don't want to show my work thing yet. You know where I work, but some project is, you know, so. So this project actually uses a thing called is to detect sound, right? Is to detect sound. So what? So
Can
what
it
kind
detect
of
the sound of silence?
More on that later. It's very actually a preview. It's very important to actually have a sound of silence. We call it background, and the reason is we do not know. Otherwise, your neural network do not know how to interpret when you leave it and there's no other sound. So you need to ideally put it in a, let's say your room is very quiet and nobody, you only occasionally turn off the fan, then you really need to collect data. I'll be back. You need to collect data. You need to collect the data for the background sound, even though your room is very quiet, which is very unlikely because we live in Malaysia. We open our window, so there's wind, there's occasional insect, and in my case, I have a clock that may make noise, right? That's why you have the TikTok sound on this. So, can you see the Zenodo website?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So okay, so this is actually from Freesound. So Freesound is a service that have sound. Ta-da, surprise.
That is free.
That is free. Ta-da, surprise. So what they do is they actually compile the sound bites. They compile 50,000 sound bites. Unfortunately, the sound is in varying length, but it's no longer than 30 seconds. So it's at 50,000 sound, which is why FSD free sound data 50K with 108 hours of sound. And the sound do not actually have only one category. So for example, in rain, so they may have rain and water splash at the same time. So they have around 200 plus category. I don't remember how many. So there's 200 sound class, and all those are mixed with each other. So some of the sound set are essentially these. So for example, let's say a dog barking, so it'll be under domestic animal and something. So let's say you have a cat is domestic animal and bell, for example, right? So and each of these actually have shout, screaming, and all that. All these ontology are within the 200 plus category that they have. So this is all this is all what we call the sound scene. Sound scene, meaning it's, let's say it's the sound around you, your car passed by, your raining and whatnot. So this is the sound, and this is the data set that I use. Okay, this is the data set that I use. And I do not use the whole data set. I'm going to show you the data set that I use right now. So data acquisition. Also, you realize that my data is not really balanced. More on that later. it works good enough, but it's not the greatest. So I have the shatter. Shatter is actually it do not limit it to glass shatter, but in this case, I limit it to glass shatter. I have to filter it for this to use, so I have 7 of those. Then I have clock. The clock sound is actually TikTok sound, so this one I have to filter as well, but I have some trick I will explain to you later. Then I have background. Boom is the explosion because why not? So I have put an explosion sound. Then I have background. Background is background. So background, what I do with background is I will show you later. In short, I take the Wio Terminal, then I connect to this device. And I just collect the background sound. I collect for like 5 minutes or so. Then, for example, this is the background sound I didn't process. I'll show you later. So what I do is I split the sound out. I try to collect the sound for 1 second. If I can't, I'm going to split it. So one step at a time. How do I acquire the data? Short answer, I download the sound from FSD 50K. It's 30 plus gigabytes. And I only use an evaluation data set. The development data set, and split it from there because I'm lazy, because it's quite a lot. Then I use this file to actually filter to get what file is it or whatnot. So I use this sound, then I produce it. Then I literally just upload it to H-Impulse. In fact, to upload this, you know what? Let me cancel this for a while. I'm going to cancel the share screen. Stop sharing. I will share my full window actually. I need to share my full. I lost my string yet. Any question you guys before I confuse all you guys?
No, probably not at this point.
Okay, cool.
Very clear.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
So I use a thing. So the thing is, before I go and do this, I need to install the H-Impulse uploader, H-Impulse software. So to get H-Impulse software, you can actually go through do they have it? No, I already do that for them. Documentation. So you go to the documentation that will have links to show you how to install the API. So for example, they have data forwarder. So I use the data forwarder to actually, not data forwarder, I'm so sorry. Uploader. So CI uploader, what you do is you actually use the service. Where's the SDK? API SDK reference. No. It's a Rails application actually. I'm sorry, it's not Rails application. It's a Node application. So I'm confused. I don't have enough sleep. Let me find the thing. Where the hell is it now? You can upload to the front end, but what you want is the CLI, H-Impulse uploader. So you need to install the daemon. You install the daemon, they will set up. So once you have this, then you just upload the data. Once you upload the data over, so what you would get is something.
Does Bango.js watch have a microphone?
No,
No,
they don't
it
have
doesn't.
actually. It doesn't actually. But here's the cool thing about H-Impulse. So once you're on a data acquisition, let's say you do upload file and you have more than this, so you actually can split sample. So they have a whole suite of signal processing tasks. So what I use a lot is the split sample that I can remove and whatnot. Then I split, then it will get multiple of 1 second data. So
Annotated by the
some of the
S1, 2, 3, 4. Is
Yeah,
that the
correct.
one that got annotated to S1, S2, S3?
Yes,
S4?
correct. They will maintain the file name, and as a result, they will maintain the annotation, the data label. But you can change the data label when you need it in this project I'm too lazy, and the reason is in some mixed data set I have to split it out, know which segment and all that. But because you can actually play the sound, so you can if you are not lazy. But you have signal processing tools for you to use, and you can crop it and whatnot. So this is how you actually process data, and it works pretty well. It goes to why there's so many of the clock noise, because clock they tend to be repetitive. And when I split the sound, so one file may have 5 to 10 sample of the clock movement, the tick and talks, right? So as a result, for clock you can go very fast, but for other sound you may only have 1 or 2 samples out of it. But this is how you actually pack a data set, because when you train in number of files, right? Data acquisition. Another way you can do this, you can actually so let's say you register your device. I actually, believe it or not, I actually have a screenshot. Give me a moment. Oh no, now you see. Here it is. Oh no, not here. Oh, I read an article for this. I'm so sorry. Come to swimming, give me some pocket money.
What does it say? I work in porn. I know why so many men are single.
What?
Yes.
Did you see the Medium article? The top
Yes.
Medium article. I don't know if it's still going to be the same. Oh yeah, there you go. Speaking
Yes.
of porn,
Yes.
That's a really.
it's a featured article in Medium.
You can hear. It's context aware of what swimming is saying.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Stories actually. I want to go here. Oh, actually, the reason I go here because I actually have screenshot. H impulse. La la la. Here you are. Oh, actually, I have it. Okay, forget it. Please load.
Is this supposed to be the AI where it upscales thing and then suddenly becomes very sharp?
No. This screenshot.
It's an AI thing, right?
No?
No.
You say.
Okay, so the reason why I didn't show this live because demo got. But let's say you do have a terminal and you do connect it, you can actually use the device directly to connect sample. And this is actually how I do background. This is how I extract background sound. So there's 2 ways for you to collect data. You can use the device, but using the device is annoying. And the reason is annoying is because it takes time for you to do it. You're more likely going to use things like the FSD50K data set to augment your data. Then from there, you collect more if you need it. So yeah, H impulse data collection done. So once you collect the data, then you design a neural network. So in this case, this one you tell it like you use your Windows. This is all signal processing tasks, and also what kind of network you use to extract sound. I use MFE. There's another one called MFCC. MFCC is awesome for human voice, but I'm not doing human voice. I'm using the environment, anything but human. So I use MFE. Then I just take a default neural network, and they automatically detect the feature. Then you output. Then the MFE part is actually signal processing, the DSP block. So what they do is actually process the sound, and from there they try to move it to optimize the number of features, some feature that manage to extract. Then from there, so even though I tend to say that it's not a deep network, if you compare this to the current day neural network, it is pretty shallow. It's like 5 layer, but it's comparable to the early computer vision network. So it's still a deep network actually, even though I call it shallow, quote unquote. These have like 6 layer. Modern network can have up to 20 or so. So it's still a deep learning network. And more importantly, you can actually look at the accuracy. And the only reason why it failed is because I have testing. I forget to delete the testing data, so it messed up the score. But 90% is not too bad. Then you have the tuner. Then you can retrain your data. Then you can test against your existing data. Then you can test your sample. Again, 90% is not too bad at all. Then deployment. But the deployment here is a bit of a misnomer because you can build a firmware, but it's very slow. What we want is to use Arduino. We compile the Arduino and we use it running on the Arduino. So how I do Arduino is essentially like this.
What is that? The one that
What? What's the question? Oh yeah, so
no, I thought it was a web serial thing, like just
no,
show last week.
No, this support web serial, interestingly, but not. I'm not using this in this project. Actually, I want to show. Oh, I should not show you the.
I want to see all your projects.
Arduino. I mean, you can see my project, but that's not relevant to. I mean, all the project here is safe for work, so this is the one. So when you select Arduino, what you get is a zip file. You can unzip and you get a library like this. So you get examples, XRC. So you will go to. I'm going to show you. I think you probably see this before because I did a TensorFlow-like episode before. .cpp. Do you see the model or what's in .h? It's in .h. So you get the neural network here actually. No, I don't have it here. Where the hell is the network? I find it a bit magical, this part. So you see here all these numbers and all that. This is the binary, quote unquote binaries you get. If you use TensorFlow and Micro, you will get one header. So this one they actually split it up for you, so you get a lot of magic number. So this is actually the neural network you get trained now. So they actually compiled it for you to reuse as library. But unfortunately, because even though Sys Studio like to say that the device is supported on H-Impulse, it's considered as a community project. So everything is actually supported by Sys Studio actually. So it's just that H-Impulse support it by actually saying that by promoting it on their site. So it's not officially supported by H-Impulse. Unlike the Arduino Nano BLE, that one is officially supported by H-Impulse. So very different. As a result,
that's because Arduino and H-Impulse had a partnership.
Correct, precisely. So one of the things they also do here is for this to work, they do a lot of crazy things which I copy and paste. So for example, I have to use DMA to make the inference faster. Then I have to do a lot of code change. So it's not that's the only problem with this project. The code change are not that straightforward. And C Studio doesn't bundle this as a library for you to plug and play. So which is actually a bit annoying. Which is why the project is actually a bit, yeah, as I said, annoying. But otherwise, I managed to get it work lah. But just
Sorry.
happened.
So that's
Yeah,
noise
I-
collection.
Yeah.
We are testing the background noise collector.
Yeah. So either way, you also put it in WebAssembly. Oh, interesting. So you can turn it in WebAssembly and use it in your web application. I should
Yeah,
try that.
Try it. Try it.
Oh, no, I can't use it. I can't use this now.
Do it.
For the reason is because I don't
Do
trust the
it.
mic for this is the
Do
same
it.
as this.
Sneak assembly in your production.
Yeah. So either way, so this is H impulse. So this H impulse. Pretty cool stuff. Then you already see the device demo. What else did I didn't show yet? What else I didn't show? I forget. Stop sharing. Does this work with image? Yes. It's still very new. Does this work with text model? Unlikely. Again, text model is still very new. Voice, barely. But somebody actually, one of the author actually did that before. Let me. See, so we have a resource for it. So let me share my screen again. Share my screen again. I have too many windows. No, I'm not share that particular tab. Chrome tab. Yeah. So you can see here, they have also a project. The last one is the one where, not this one. AI, this one. This is actually the course. I can't go to this guy. Well. Someone actually made a small speech model for it so they can give voice command. So, but you can't give them a full command in a way that your dog and cat recognize more sound in this device. So yeah, it's still very early. So the things that got very interesting is image and speech. Audio scene is already known problem. Fixable only with more data. So yes.
Yeah, that is like oxymoron, like.
Right, correct. But yeah, I like it. I like the idea of this. I may use this more, and also they are also very generous with their quota. So I did not. It's very hard to hit the quota. So I think currently what they do is H Impulse is working to more as a consultant for industry people to actually use the capability. So that's why I think so we just happen to have this capability for us to use. So yeah, that's H Impulse, and this is the device it used. I can't show you this now simply because I don't have a long USB cable. But what you do get is actually Arduino for you to do your code. So any question? Any interesting question? Cool. So will I use this? Maybe. In fact, I think Tristan already said multiple times. So H Impulse doesn't actually only use sound. Actually, they can do accelerometer. You can do any sensor you can think of. As long as it's useful, you can actually do it. So in fact, let me switch to Hexter.io. Hexter.io. Let me find Edge Impulse. You will see a lot of projects that you can use to actually inspire you. So look at them and all that. You will see that some project I think is a bit silly, like status quo, like but if one inspiration is there lah. If you want motion-based project, it's already something that you can use. So yes, and that's about it. Really, that's about it. So what else? Anything interesting?
I
Interesting
wanted
one
to
to share your
show
screen,
the.
right?
Yeah,
Show
well,
your
because
stuff.
you open up the tight VNC thing. I'm not admin on this StreamYard, so you'll have to do it.
Okay, let
Oh,
me.
you should. Yeah,
Yeah.
you should.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, right? But this is not using the VNC server for Mac, because as you can see here, I don't know if you can read it.
Okay.
QEMU.
Yeah.
It's QEMU. It's
Mac in a box.
It's basically KVM. So this is running on my Linux server that's serving as a NAS. It's running KVM. Yeah, running KVM. So this is a virtual machine. No, it's not Big Sur anymore. It's actually Monterey, and it's emulating a. What does it say? I think it's emulating an iMac Pro. Yeah, an iMac Pro 2017. Yeah, but because you mentioned about VNC, you can run. I don't know what you use a Mac for, but if it's just really for running, so because some of our desktop
it's a build-
applications,
It's a build server for the iOS.
yeah, so if it's just a build server, you don't really need graphics, right? Like for example, I lowered down the graphics a lot here, but it's almost like bare metal in terms of the CPU and stuff.
It's good to have in
access.
case when we need to go in to check what doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can have a Mac Mini, or in my case, I don't want to buy a Mac Mini. I don't want to waste money on a Mac, so I just run it as a virtual machine, and that's the thing. The other one that I wanted to show is this one. So this is a picture of my bookshelf in the Philippines. You'll see that I actually have all of the Asimov stuff here. So this is the Foundation trilogy, and then of course the other one, Foundation Earth, the sequels, the prequels, the Robot City stuff, other books by Frank Herbert, Nightfall.
I don't
what
think
is
I read
this?
any book from Isaac Asimov.
Fantastic Voyage. Oh,
Well,
Fantastic
Isaac
Voyage is
Asimov-
one of the.
I grew up with a lot of Jules Verne and Philip K. Dick.
So
Asimov.
Isaac Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke is the short. I grew up with the short story actually, not that novel.
I think the short stories. I think I have it here. I forgot. It's probably a compendium. I forgot where it is here. It's like old. That's why I was asking if you had the old cover of June, because somewhere here is June. I don't know where it is. Also, like some Frank Herbert stuff, like the Jesus Incident and the Lazarus Effect, and the third one I can't find that book. I forgot the name. And then, so the what they call this, the Frank Herbert stuff is also here. Hellstrom's Hive is also nice.
Yeah.
And but there I try to find the original book covers, not the original book on print, because that's like quite expensive. But try to find the original book cover on the paperback, because the original book.
When was this picture taken?
This is very grainy because it's quite dark when I took it.
Oh, okay.
But this was
not long
I
ago.
don't know. Let's see. Probably 5 years ago, maybe 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's quite grainy because it was dark when I took it. Like I just thought, okay, I should take a picture because I'm not using that room anymore. My niece is probably using that room now, and so I thought, okay, maybe I'll take a picture of that. You have a career guide 2003-2004 on jobstreet.com. If you remember, JobStreet actually published books during that time. So that's the See, people started with these things like, how do I find a job in 2003?
Yeah.
That's how
But
it is.
you know,
PC Mac were important when I was growing up.
Yes, it is. So either way, Isaac Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke actually give me a very different tech experience. It tend to make tech as happens to be a thing. It's not like the center of the thing. So, for example, the story about education by S. Asimov, where everybody is hyper specialized, then that turns out that the character is creative. So, if you have somebody that's creative, why? Because you need somebody creative to create new solution. So, this is actually the education right now. So, then the other one that I really like is Arthur C. Clarke had a story about a general that lost their war, and the reason they lost their war is because the army that lost, they have the most advanced technology and weapon, but it's not reliable. So as a result, they lost the war because they spent too much time on flashy thing. And this is why I want technology to be more reliable than flashy. So yeah, maybe I'll cover that in the future.
But reliable technology goes in the background. Like you have a lot
No,
of
yeah,
technology in your switch box, right? In your
yes.
your panel.
So
Like
yes, but in the story, that's why the other side win the war. The goal is to win the war, not flashy technology. So we need to be a bit humble about the thing that we do as the technologies, right? So that's the point of that story to me lah. I don't get it that time. I got it interesting, but nowadays as I read that story, it makes more sense. In the end of the day, we build things for objectives, not a build thing for sake of the thing themselves. I should find the story. I don't remember where it is. So with that said, it's 11 now. So thanks for
yep,
the
and Hussein is saying, can you highlight this one, the last by Hussein? It just says,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
With that said, with wow,
Hussein, why are you trapped in the picture? You look like you're trapped in the picture. Do you need help?
Yes. So thanks for listening. I hope Asian Pulse will be a useful tool for you. They didn't pay us for the. I mean, since they pay, give me the designs. That's about
Pay
it.
you, not us. You.
Yeah.
oh, and Sweemeng, you
But-
should migrate your
neutral.
blog to the DevKami blog. Why are you using Medium? You should do
because
it on the DevKami
because I
blog.
make nine ringgit out of it.
You should just copy it as well.
So yes.
Well, there's a lot of money. You should buy us dinner.
Yes. So with that said, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
I hope it's useful for you guys. And do tell me what you have done. I would love to see.
Yep.
Because I want to steal idea. So goodbye, good night, and have fun.